Yes, good morning, Supravatam, Suswagatam to each and everyone, those who have joined this program. It is our privilege and we feel very happy and proud that we have been able to get together, at least through this online. So, though we are not physically, we never met, but at least now we can. This medium has made us, digital system has made us more close, and it is all our um, fortune that we have been all here, and it is all, I think, just some people are still joining. I think I will have our prayer regularly. If Deepa can show that, those who are, those who know, they can recite. Deepa, can you
Yes,
show?
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
We have our salutation to Panini every class. We have been starting with the class with the salutation to Panini, which is a very common verse. Everybody, those who are know very many people. So before that, my namaskar to Professor Patnaik, Professor Mishra, and Professor Bhattacharya, those who have been in the field of linguistics for long. And it is all our small attempt so that we want to know our tradition, that how far it is useful for understanding our own languages along with the linguistics here. So before that, let us start our with means prayer with to Panini. Those who know, please recite it. This will be our main here. Yenaksharasamaamnayam
Aksharasabhavnayam
Aksharasamaamnayam
येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम्
Adhigamya
Adhigamya
Maheshwarat
Maheshwarat
अधिगम्य
Adhigamya Maheshwarat
महेश्वरात्
Krishnam
कृष्णं
Vyakaranam
व्याकरणं
Vyakaram
Proktam
प्रोक्तम्
Proktam
Kritsnam
कृत्स्नं
Vyakaranam
व्याकरणं
Proktam
प्रोक्तम्
Tasmai
तस्मै
Tasmai
Paninaye
पाणिनये
Paninaye
Namaha.
नमः
Namah
Tasmai
तस्मै
Paninaye
पाणिनये
Namaha.
नमः.
So we always salute to Panini that who wrote a complete grammar as it is known, but to what extent our complete. That is all our attempt is to know about this Panini's grammar, how far it is useful in understanding the language structure. So this course, we have started this course, certificate course in linguistics from December 4th. So we have covered almost all linguistic aspects like morphology, syntax, particularly with the study of our Sandhi, Samasa, Kridanta, Tattita, Karaka. We have covered 18 lectures. Actually, in that, it's a part of our program that we must also want to know the computable aspect of Ashtadhyayi, how far Panini's grammar is computable and how Sanskrit is computable, how why Sanskrit is not changing. I have been trying to explain that traditional system of Panini's grammar is so much well designed and well structured so that linguistically is more generative and descriptive adequacies. So, from the point of view of adequacies, that is called this descriptive adequacy, explanatory adequacy, and also observation. All the three aspects I have been trying to explain to our participants who have joined from various universities. And so that is all we have tried to do theoretically as per the Panini Sutras and examples. I have tried to explain them, and I have been put it that Madam will, today's lecture specially, so Dr. Amba Kulkarni, who is the professor and head of the Department of Sanskrit Studies in Hyderabad University, basically she is a mathematician, and after mathematics, she did her MPhil in Nyaya. Then she did her MTech in IIT Kanpur. After doing Nyaya, as you know, grammar actually cannot be studied without Nyaya. So Nyaya and grammar are very close. So she did the first thing, that Nyaya MPhil she did from the IIT Kanpur. Then, of course, she joined the University of Hyderabad as a faculty, and then she did also MA and PhD in Sanskrit. And she is known for her contribution, particularly for Sanskrit linguistics or computational linguistics, what has developed today in the world. It is all she is the torch bearer, and she has been making so many works. Or those who will see this website in the Hyderabad universities, you will see her performance and her contributions, which is simply immense. And we cannot just compare today. And being an expert both in mathematics and Nyaya, she has been able to present our tradition in a most suitable manner, which is very relevant today in applied aspects. So whether it is applied linguistics or applied sciences, she did her PhD in applied linguistics. So she has been able very technically and efficiently. She has managed to bring up our traditional knowledge system in a more sophisticated manner, so that we can share with anybody interested in the Indian knowledge system. With this, and she has been awarded this Sanskrit Visishta Sanskrit Seva Brati Samman from Rashtriya Sanskrit Sosthan, and many awards. That is not, but we know her as a now torchbearer of Sanskrit or computational linguistics all over the world. She has been giving lectures and written so many works, and her website. She will be explaining us today how far Panini's Ashtadhyayi is computable, how computational linguistics has developed on the basis of the Ashtadhyayi, and how Sanskrit language has been a source of their inspiration for taking off, whether it is morphologically or syntactically. She will be telling us. So I request, with this view, I request Professor Amba Kulkarni to present her lectures, so that we will be benefited, and all our participants, those who are there, please try to take note, and whenever necessary, you can also be in touch with her. Yes, welcome. Thank you, madam. Please join me. Thank you. Please start.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Uh, Thank you very much, sir, for very kind introduction. Uh, First, let me also tell you that whatever I am going to show you, that is not just my effort, but effort of all the team working with me, all my students who did their PhD under me. All their work is here, uh, which I will be demonstrating to you. And I first of all give you thank you for giving me this opportunity to uh, to share my experience uh, of learning Vyakarana and applying it to uh, or using computer science, or looking at it from a different perspective. All these days we have been learning grammar from a specific perspective, but uh, with exposure to Vyakarana from a different perspective, I could find several new things, new aspects of computational aspects, of course, I will be talking about in this. And I'm very glad that I got this opportunity to present it before you. I could see many names here about whom I have been. um though I have not met some of you personally, but I know about your work. For example, Krishna Madam, I have heard about you a lot. I could see also Yashoda Rakhar joining here, whom I met a long back. Then I could see
Kannu,
Professor Sriram here.
Kannu,
Thank you, Professor Sriram ji, again to be here, and many more. I'm not going to take the names. Many names look familiar. So thank you very much, sir, for gathering all this galaxy of people with who are experts in their own field, and who are very much interested in learning uh, our traditional, uh, to who are very much interested in knowing the contribution of our tradition. Okay, so let me start with all these days you have been exposed to various aspects of grammar from Panini, Panini's grammar. So you know now the concept of vibhakti, samasa, and the karakas. Uh, Now, these concepts are there across all languages. Take any language in the world, there will be concept of vibhakti either in the form of suffix or Vibhakti actually is giving you a kind of information to connect one word with the another. So it may be through position, it may be through some suffix or whatever. Then the notion of compounding is again there across all languages. And notion of establishing relation between words. What kind of relations are there? Though uh, the various grammarians or linguists name them in a different way, this concept is very much there across all languages. But then, and even in the grammars, they are discussing all these things. But then, what is unique about Panini? The uniqueness, what I feel is there are two things. One is Panini gave an almost exhaustive grammar. You will see all these linguistic theories which give a grammar, but it's not as exhaustive as Panini's. It will cover 60 to 70% of the language, but uh, they will not list all the exceptions. You will see Panini has meticulously listed all the exceptions. You will see the Ganapathas, etc., where all these exceptions are listed separately, and even in some of the sutras. Then the second aspect of Panini's grammar is it is um computational. Or let me put it this way, it is very concise so that you can memorize this grammar. And once you have all the rules of grammar with exceptions in your memory, naturally you can apply it very easily. Nowadays, of course, our memorization, we are not using our memory much. We always uh, rely upon the computer, secondary memory. But there was a time when we didn't have computers, or even before that, people used to memorize all these grammar rules so that you can apply them as and when necessary. And it was necessary because when you are reciting will you all please mute yourself? There is somebody who has not muted and there is some sound coming. Okay. I'm sorry, because that noise was there. Okay, so we have this memorization in our tradition. Why it was necessary? Because when you are reciting the Vedic mantras, when you need to adapt them, you need to know the grammar rules so that you can recite it properly in a given situation, in a given context, and so on. Because you need to form different forms of the words as per the requirement and all that. So this was necessary. Now, uh, when Panini compiled this and made it concise, he also made it a point that there is some structure in it. Now, that structure I'm not going to describe today, but how that structure is useful from computational aspect, that I will explain. If we start talking about the structure itself, there is much more in it, and that itself will be another course actually of 20-30 lectures. So we are not going in that way, in that direction. Now, some of you might have heard a slogan that Sanskrit is the best language for computation and all that, computers. Actually, let me first try to tell something about this slogan, and then I will come back to the computational aspect of Ashtadhyayi. This particular slogan, which we hear always, the the origin of this goes to one paper by Rick Briggs. He was a scientist in NASA and he was working on knowledge representation, artificial intelligence, etc. So he must have come across the Navyanyaya, technical language of Navyanyaya, which is used to describe the Shabda Bodha. And what he presented in his paper is this technique, the technical language of Navyanyaya, of representing the Shabda Bodha, is very much similar to the way knowledge is represented in AI. So essentially, he was comparing the knowledge representation schemes that are there in Western tradition in the artificial intelligence domain with the Navyanyaya, or rather Navyanyaya technique was being compared with those Western representation methods. And then he pointed out, he actually give an illustration with examples from Sanskrit that look here, this is the representation in Shabda Bodha, following the Navyanyaya technical language, and this is how we represent it in the knowledge, using the knowledge representation schema, and see how similar these are. So what he meant here was the theories which we have developed in India for Shabda Bodha, that is verbal cognition, they are very much relevant for knowledge representation. But then people here in India and many Sanskrit enthusiasts, let me say, they took it as Sanskrit is the best language for computers. Sanskrit, just like any other language, is as ambiguous. Sanskrit is as ambiguous as any other natural language. So, and in fact, I would say because of the freedom to move the words, it also allows us to write or construct slokas that have pun in it and so on. And you must have heard a lot about such things. You can create various chitra kavyas. You can write the poetry in many different ways, which will give you various kinds of rhythm, which are symmetry, lot of symmetries involved, and all that. All this is possible because of the freedom of moving the words across the line and so on. So essentially, I want to say that Sanskrit is much more ambiguous, I would say, than normal languages like English, Hindi, etc. So it's not the Sanskrit language which is useful for computers or best suited for computers, but it is the theories of verbal cognition which are more suitable for machine for computation purpose. Now, you might have been looking at or using Google Translation for several things. If Google has already developed this translation technology, the question is, can we use it for Sanskrit or for that purpose for any other language? And you will see that the performance of this Google Translator is different for different languages. So essentially, this technology of translation is language dependent. Okay. So typically, whatever technologies we have seen so far earlier, they were not language dependent. For example, we have the radios, or we had the tape recorders, and even TVs, where uh, we can record our speech, or we can transmit our speech from one place to another through telephone, etc. And this technology of transferring our speech was language independent because it just dealt with the sound. It was not looking at what is the meaning of that sound or how one sound is distinct from another. But when you want to translate something from one language to another, now you need to look at the phoneme, or if you want to take dictation, you need to look at the phonemes, that is the minimum meaningful speech unit. And then uh, we need to transcribe it into another into a script. Similarly, if you want to speak it, you need to know how to pronounce it in that particular language. Okay, so this involves the knowledge of language. So this technology is purely language dependent. So you will see dictation systems for English, but you don't see dictation systems for our languages, Indian languages. Why? Because in order to develop this, you need to put the linguistic information that is specific to your language. Now, since most of this technology is developed in the West, they are developing it for their own languages. So the onus is on us Indians to develop these things. So those who are engineers, who are into computer science field, who want to develop something for India, here are the opportunities in linguistics. So one is, of course, the dictation system. Similarly, for optical character recognitions, OCRs, again, our scripts, they are very scientific in nature, but they are little complicated as compared to the alphabetic. So we need to understand how the aksharas are written, what is the scientific basis of it, understand uh, the uh, the science behind writing these aksharas, etc., and then develop the OCRs. Of course, nowadays there are machine learning techniques and so on, but still there are lot of inputs that are needed from the linguistic side for the machine learning approaches also. So, uh, and this only we Indians can give. Now I come back to the language processing itself. So we have, when we say language, we have the sound, then script, and the content itself. So whatever is the content, so suppose now I have some sentence, and I am now talking about the understanding the text which is written. So suppose I have some text which is written and I want to understand that text. That text can belong to any disciplines. As you know, in India has produced a lot of literature, scientific literature. So the literature, the text I am talking about can be scientific text, can be literature like Kalidasa's or any Mahakavya, etc. It can be a philosophical text, any text. In order to understand any of these texts, these theories of Shabda Bodha, which I mentioned earlier, theories of verbal cognition, were developed. Now, if we go historically uh, to trace these origin of theories of verbal cognition, we see that it was the Mimamsakas who were Mimamsakas who were interested in deciphering the Vedas in order they wanted to understand the Vedas, and in order to do that they developed this theory. So Panini's grammar is for generation in the sense we have some ideas in our mind and we want to speak it. We want to communicate those ideas to others. For that purpose, for converting the concept or the notion or the thoughts in the mind of a speaker into a language string. So you are generating a language. This is the generation process which Panini has given. On the other hand, the Mimamsakas started with the theories of Shabdabodha, theories for interpretation of the Shabdas, of the sentence. So once a speaker speaks, utters his thoughts, expresses his thoughts through a language string, when the hearer listens to that, the hearer will have to decipher this language string into thoughts. So this process of deciphering the information is called the process of Shabda Bodha. And Shabda Bodha, Shabda Jayamanaha Bodha, the Bodha that arrives out of the Shabdas. This is the Shabda Bodha. So for this, whole theory has been developed. Mimamsakas developed this theory, and of course then Nayayika joined, and later on even the Vaiyakarana joined this stream. And they have given elaborated theory of how this cognition arrives in our mind. And there they talk about three aspects, three factors which help us in understanding a text. So suppose some text is given to us. In order to understand this text, there are certain steps that need to be followed. So before going to the factors explained by Shabdabodha theorists, let me first tell you how this process is described in our tradition, the process of understanding a text. These are the commentators who, when they comment on any text, they follow this particular process. So for what they do is, they first do the padacheda, padarthokti, vigraha, and then anvaya, and then the answers to the queries or objections that are raised. These are called the Panchalaksanas of Commentary. So a commentator first gives the padacheda. Whatever the text is, we know that text is typically written in a sandhid version. So you need to unsandhi them, you need to split them. Padacheda is needed. After padacheda, we need to know what is the meaning of each and what is the analysis of each and every word. What is the prakruti? What is the pratyaya? And what is the meaning? Then we need to know the meaning of the Prakruti, meaning of the Pratyaya. Once we know these, and if there are compounds, we need to know the Vigraha Vakya of those compounds. What is the meaning of those compounds? Once we know all these things, we do the Anvaya. What is the Anvaya? Anvaya means you are following something. So, which words follows which word? That we decide. There are two types of Anvayas again in our tradition. One is Khandanvaya and the other one is Dandanvaya. In Dandanvaya, like a danda, stick, we arrange all the words in a line. In which line? What is that line? It has some specific structure, such as first you have the karta, then karma, etc. If there are visheshanas, visheshanam puraskritya visheshyam tadanantaram, kartru karma kriya yuktam etat anvaya lakshanam. So this is how the words are arranged. Or so this is the dandanvaya. That means you are arranging the words in a danda, like a danda, and they are arranged in such a way that there is specific syntax in it. You have visheshanas before and then visheshyas and so on. Then there is another way of doing this anvaya that is called khanda anvaya. Khanda means part. So you understand it part by part. So first you understand what is the karta. So you start with a verb and you now try to understand what is the karta for this verb. Then you go to the next question. If the verb is transitive, sakarmaka, what is the karma there? If there are any visheshanas of karta, those you will list. If there are any visheshanas of karma, those you will try to identify and so on. And then overall picture emerges in your mind. This is how the process of verbal cognition is explained in our tradition. We have these two ways of teaching how to understand the text. So teachers used to follow either Dandanvaya or Khandanvaya. So typically when a poetry is given, the words are they are arranged in a different order. Now you need to make them in a prose order, and once it is written in prose order, if you know enough Sanskrit, you can understand the meaning. But there will be some students who may not know that much Sanskrit. For them, you can teach using the Khandanvaya method and you understand the text. So these clues are there in our Shastra. These clues are for understanding various texts, how to understand the Sanskrit texts. Actually, though these are given, these methods are given for understanding Sanskrit texts, I feel that they are universal. You can use them to understand any text in any language for that matter. Okay, so now we have these theories. This theory of Shabdabodha, as you see, is from analysis point of view. The speaker has received the language string. He has received the utterance and now he needs to understand this. Of course, how the understanding happens in our mind when we know the language is, it's not necessarily the same as the process that is described here, but the process that is described is computational in nature. That means if you consciously follow these steps, you are definitely going to arrive at the meaning of it. So the tradition has given us a theory or two theories, I will say. One for generation, which is due to Panini, and the other for Shabda Bodha, which is due to the Mimamsakas and then later Nayayikas and Vyakarnas. These two theories are complementary to each other, and the theories of Shabda Bodha, they depend on Panini's grammar. So there is very much tight coupling between the two. It's not that somebody gave something, Panini gave something, and then these Mimamsakas develop something else later. No, there is tight coupling between these two theories. Just a minute. Okay, so I was talking about the Shabdabodha theories, and here I said that there are some factors which are necessary to understand the text, which are described by the Shabdabodha theories. I said that there are these Gandanvaya and Khandanvaya two methods. Now, in order to understand this text, in Khandanvaya, what are we doing? Suppose there is a verb, like let me take some simple example. Ramahavanam gacchati. The moment I said gacchati is the verb, goes is the verb, you will have an expectancy. Who goes? That, and then you supply the information that Rama goes. Where does he go? He goes to Vana, forest. So these questions, these are the akankshas. There are some questions raised in our mind. The moment we hear some verb which which denotes some activity in the real world, immediately all these questions start coming to our mind. Who is the one who is doing this activity? What is the goal? What he is intending? How he is doing that? What is the karana instrument that is being used? If he is doing the activity of giving, to whom he is giving? If he is departing, from where he is departing? So all these are the expectancies that arise when we hear any such sentence with and identify the verb. We have these expectancies. These are the akankshas. So the moment we hear something, we have these expectancies and we try to fulfill those expectancies by with the words in the sentence. But any word cannot fulfill the expectancy of any verb. There are certain restrictions. For example, Ramaha Vanam Gacchati, Rama we know is the name of a person, so he can move. But can I have Vrikshaha Vanam Gacchati? We can't, because Vriksha does not move. Right? So there are certain restrictions. There should be yogyata. Only if there is yogyata between two words, then you can say that sentence is something meaningful and we can establish that relation between such words. So we need to look at this yogyata also. Further, we also need the information about Sannidhi. What is Sannidhi? The words which are related should be together. It should not be like we have A, B, C, D, 4 words. A is related to C and B is related to D. It will not be a sound statement. You can't understand such a statement if such crossings are there. So this is the Sannidhi. All the words which are related should be together. So there are these three factors. One is akanksha, the second one is yogyata, third is Sannidhi. So these things, they are now you are, as a computer scientist, when I look at it, what I see is, suppose a sentence is given to me and I want to understand what is the Shabda Bodha arriving out of that sentence, what I need to know is which word is related to which other word. How do I know it? By akanksha. Where is this akanksha? The usage of the verb tells me what are its expectancies. So gam, the dhatu gam, I know that it has two expectancies. Who is going, where he is going. Patha, who is reading, what he is reading. Then how do I know which word is the karta, which one is the karma? It is the vibhakti that tells me. Okay, if it is kartari prayoga, karta is abhihita, therefore it is in pratama. Karma will be in dvitiya. If it is karmani prayoga, karma is abhihita, therefore it is in prathama. And karta will be in tritiya. For karana, it is always in tritiya. So all these information is given by Panini. So look, these Shabdabodha theories and Panini's grammar, they work in tight as a coupling. So the Shabdabodha theories are telling us where to look for the information. Okay? And how that what kind of relation it codes is given by Panini. That it is the karta or karma or karana, etc. The Shabdabodha theories also tell us that you don't establish the relation just by looking at the vibhakti, but you also need to know whether there is yogyata or not. So, for example, let us take this example, Ramena Banena Vali Hataha. So, Ramena and Banena both are in Tritiya. But then which one is Karta and which is Karana? How do we know? By looking at the meaning of the words. Okay? Bana can be the instrument and Rama is the person. So he is more likely to be the Karta and Bana is the Karana. So we also look at this Yogyata. Just by looking at the Vibhakti, we don't say that, okay, Bana is Karta. We need to look at the Yogyata. And then we also need to look at Sannidhi. We should not say, we should not arrive at some meaning just by establishing relations between any two words, saying that, oh, Sanskrit is free word order and we can generate this meaning. No, there should be this Sannidhi also possible. If there is Sannidhi violation, then that might not be the correct meaning. You need to go for something where there is no Sannidhi violation. Okay, so these are certain criterias. These are the constraints. So now, from algorithmic point of view, if we look at, we know now through akanksha when to establish a relation, and there are certain constraints that are imposed on it. So we can model it as a constraint programming, constraint problem, constraint problem, where the constraints are to be solved. And there are several solutions available in mathematics about solving the constraint problems. So what I wanted to tell you is, our tradition has given a very algorithmic approach to solve a problem. And that algorithmic approach has helped me further to develop, now implement these on computers. Because once we have the algorithm ready, implementing is just trivial, because computers are there for handling any mathematical or logical problems. They are the best in handling such devices, these two aspects of any problem. So now I am going to demonstrate uh, my website, where we have developed various um, tools for understanding Sanskrit texts. So let me share my screen. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the website sanskrit.uhyd.ac.in/scl. Okay, this is the website. Uh, and there are a few others, but you can just have this, you can try this, which is the university website. Uh, and here you will see various tools, dictionaries, and all the publications of related to this work. Even students' theses are there, and we have a machine translation system and some e-readers. So I will start with these e-readers, and then I will go back to others. So I told you about this Akanksha, Yogyata, and Sannidhi. We have here three e-readers: Sankshepa Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, and Shishupalavadham. I will go to Sankshepa Ramayanam. Here, Antapravesha Yatra Nudyatam. Click here to go inside. And you see here, well, let me explain a little bit about what this is. So this particular version is the e-version of a book, Sankshepa Ramayanam. This book is published by uh, the erstwhile Rashtriya Samskrita Samsthana, okay, which is now the Sanskrit Central University. In this book, if if you look inside, for every shloka, they have given the Padapatha. What is Padapatha? That is the Padacheda. So each shloka is first split into various padas. Then the meaning of every word is given, explaining what is the vibhakti, what is the pratipadika, what is the pratipadikartha, and what is the meaning of overall word. If it is a samasta pada, what is the meaning of that compound? This is explained. And then the book follows the Khandanvaya approach, and using the method of Akanksha gives the answers the questions, which word is connected to which word, and so on. And finally it gives the Anvaya. So what we did was, we captured all this information in this e-version. So here is the Moola Shloka. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. Now you see here, valmikir munipungavam is, there is a sandhi, and even samasa is there. Vagvidam, this is a samasa. Tapasvadhyaya niratam, there is a samasa. So we need to understand this. So here we have the Anvaya that is given to us. Tapasvi Valmikihi, Tapasvadhyaya niratam Vagvidamvaram Munipungavam Naradam Paripapracha. This is, so here you will see Valmikir Munipungavam is split into Valmikihi and Munipungavam. And all other words are as kept as there, but they are arranged in a Danda Anvaya. So those who know little bit of Sanskrit now can understand this on their own. But there will be people like me who do not know what is the meaning of this shloka. For them, what we have done is, this shloka is represented here on the right hand side. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram naradam paripapracha valmikihi munipungavam. These two words are split, but the order of shloka is like this. We have not changed the order. But below this, you see that now these are in different colors. What do these colors specify? So I go to show and hide rows, and I ask for Shabda Vishleshanam. I toggle this. So now I have the Shabda Vishleshana of every word. So this Tapasvadhyaya Niratam says that Niratam, this Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, is in Dvitiya Pullinga Ekavachanam. Similarly, Varam is in Dvitiya Pullinga Ekavachanam. Naradam is in Dvitiya Pullinga Ekavachanam. Muni Pungavam is also in Dvitiya Pullinga Ekavachanam. Similarly, Tapasvi and Valmiki, these are in Prathama Pullinga Ekavachana. Vagvidam is in Shashti Pullinga Bahuvachana. And Paripapracha is the verb which is in Kartari. The dhatu is Prach, Paripurvaka Prach dhatu or Prach. And then you have, it is in Kartari, Lit Lakar Pratham Purush Ekavachana. So we have this information. Now these colors indicate that the green color indicates Dvitiya, blue color indicates Prathama Vibhakti, light blue is for Shashti, and red color is used for Perp. Now, if we follow the Khandanvaya method, now what is that Khandanvaya method? We start with a verb, Paripapracha. Now the meaning of Paripapracha is Puchna. And Lit Lakar says it is in past tense. So Pucha or asked. The moment we hear this word asked or Pucha, or you can translate it into your own mother tongue, irrespective of which language it is, always there will be two expectancies. Who asked and whom did he ask? And third one, what did he ask? All these three expectancies will be there in the minds of a reader. So see how this notion of Karaka is universal. The who asked is the Karta. What did he ask is the Karma. Whom he asked again is a Karma. So now different languages will encode this information. Who asked? In English we say that it is a subject, it will come in subject position, or the agent we will say, if we go for semantic analysis. In Sanskrit we will say, okay, who asked is the Karta, which will come in Prathama Vibhakti, because here Paripapracha is in Kartari Prayoga. Same thing in Odia or Hindi or Marathi or Tamil. This person who is asking will have Prathama Vibhakti. So we have to look in the sentence which are the words in Prathama Vibhakti. And we have here Valmiki and Tapasvi. And from the words, now if you know the meanings of these words, we know Tapasvi is something who performs penance. So this is a adjective, and Valmiki is the name of the person. So Tapasvi is an adjective to Valmiki, and it is Valmiki who asked. So Kaha Paripapracha, Valmiki Paripapracha. कीदृश वाल्मीकि? तपस्वी वाल्मीकि. पुनः कं परिपप्रच्छ? Whom did he ask? नारदं परिपप्रच्छ. Okay. पुनः कीदृश नारदं? कीदृश नारदः? तपस्वाध्याय निरतः, मुनिपुङ्गवः, वाग्विदाम्बरः. These are the adjectives of Narada. And since in Sanskrit, Visheshana and Visheshya will have the same Linga Vibhakti and Vachana, we see that all of them are in Pullinga Ekavachana. Similarly, Tapasvi and Valmiki, they are in Pullinga Ekavachana. Their Vibhakti should match, Linga should match. And then for Varam, there is an expectancy. Varam is Sreshta, greatest. Greatest among whom? This is the natural question that arises in our mind. Sreshta, kisme Sreshta? Shastrajno mein Sreshta, or amongst the wise men, greatest among the wise men. So this is how now we understand the shloka. Of course, one more question, what did he ask? That is given from the second shloka onwards. See, this is a narration going on. So, Tapasvi Valmiki asked Narada. And then in quotes you have, who is the greatest, who is the wisest, who is having all these virtues, and so on. So, we now understand this whole shloka by following this Khandanvaya approach. We are asking the questions and part by part we are understanding this sentence. So we have understood it as Valmiki asked. Valmiki is Tapasvi. He asked Narada. Narada is engaged in penance and self-study. He is greatest among sages, and so on. And thus now we can translate this into our own mother tongue. So I am translating it into Hindi, for example. तपस्वी वाल्मीकि ने तप एवं स्वाध्याय में निरत और संलग्न मुनि श्रेष्ठ शास्त्रज्ञों में श्रेष्ठ नारद को पूछा. See, I am now following, once I know what is being said and I know the order in which the Hindi sentence is to be generated, I just use this Khandanvaya and I fill in those slots and I get the translation. So this method of Khandanvaya is helping me in constructing the sentence in my own language. And how do we obtain Khandanvaya? By following the Akanksha and Yogyata and Sannidhi. What is this Akanksha? We start with a verb and we ask questions to fill in the slots of these expectancies of the verbs. Different verbs will have different types of expectancies. Some will have only expectancy for karta, some will have expectancy for karta and karma, okay? Some will have expectancy for karta, karma and sampradana. And then karana might be there or may not be there, apadana might be there or may not be there, adhikarana may or may not be there. And if they are there, then we just fill in these slots. And then there will be Visheshanas for each of these Karakas. And once we fill in these Visheshanas, we get the complete structure, overall structure of the sentence. And this is how we get the Shabdabodha. So, and then further, we should also know what is the meaning of Munipungava. So, it says, Munishu Pungavaha Munipungavaha. What is Pungava? Pumanscha asau gauhu. Gauscha I don't know, there is something wrong here. Iti Pungavaha. And Munishu Pungavaha is Muni Pungavaha. Similarly, Vagvidam is, this is a Upapada Tatpurusham. Vacham Vetti iti Vagvida, Tesham Vagvidam. Here there are three words, Tapas Svadhyaya Niratam. Now when there are three words A, B, C, whether to join A and B first and then C, or first join B and C, then add A to it, this all depends on the meaning of the sentence. So here we have tapascha swadhyayascha tapaswadhyayau, tapaswadhyayayoho niratah tapaswadhyaya niratah, tam tapaswadhyaya niratam. So all this information was given in the book, and just what we did was we presented it in a format where through various links you can get these various information. Okay, now the question is, suppose such a shloka is given, can machine provide me the analysis? Here already ready-made analysis is there, but suppose I give this sentence to a machine. I'm opening another window. Then what I do is, instead of going to e-readers, now I go to this Anusarakam and I paste that shloka here. I also do the Sandhi splitting, and Valmikihi, I write here Valmikihi, and here Muni Pungavam. Muni Pungavam we know is, we have seen it is a compound. So I add a dash there. Tapasvadhyaya Niratam is also a compound. So I add tapas hyphen svadhyaya hyphen niratam. Vagvidam is also a compound. So I add a hyphen there. So I have added hyphens in between the compounds. And now I give this shloka to this Anusaraka. I submit it. There is something wrong, it seems. Yeah. Okay, now it's taking this halanta. There were some extra characters. Okay, so machine is now analyzing this shloka. I had chosen text type as shloka, and I can have the output either in Devanagari, or if you are not familiar with Devanagari, you can have it in Roman notation also. It's taking some time. Actually, my other servers are down and this server has little extra load, so it is taking some time. It may take 1 minute because of the load. So sorry for this inconvenience. Let me check if another server is up now so that I can paste it there. Oops. I did a mistake. I closed it by mistake. Extremely sorry. I will have to type it again. Sorry for this problem, but sometimes if you are not, I have a new machine and I'm not familiar with some of the keystrokes, so it's going wrong. Okay, I will give it again. By mistake, I had closed the website and I wanted to actually try in some other website also. Let me see if another website is available. I will try there also. Yes. So it will take again same time. It's still doing. So sorry, it's taking time, but the problem is I just shifted to some new machine and it is taking time. I'm sorry. I should have actually typed it and kept it ready, but it just skipped through my mind. Yes, sorry. Meanwhile, it has produced the analysis here. So I need not submit on other machine. So you see, machine has produced it automatically. Paripapracha, it says, is a verb. Valmiki is the karta. Tapasvi is the visheshana. Narada is karma. Tapasvadhyaya nirata is the visheshana. Varam is another visheshana. Munipungavam is another visheshana. And Vagvidam Varam, there is a Nirdharana Sambandha. So you notice that machine has done it automatically. I just gave the sentence, a shloka to it, and machine has produced this analysis. How it has produced this? Following this constraint programming which I mentioned. constraints are given by our tradition. What are the constraints? Where is the information? All this information is there in our theories of Shabdabodha. So it was just a matter of making it available to machine in a algorithmic way. Even the algorithm is mentioned by our tradition, how we should proceed. First the padacheda, then pada parichaya, then vigraha, and then anvaya, and so on. So this is how we get, we can use now computers to understand any Sanskrit text. So what I think is, I stop here and I would invite questions on this part, and then tomorrow we can go for remaining part of it. Okay?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Sir, just give me one
I
minute.
noticed.
One second.
Just 1 minute. I will have some water and okay. Just.
Sir, she mean to say constant or constant?
Which one?
The pronunciation, no, she is regularly repeating constant and constraint. The pronunciation wise, I don't find the difference of it. Sorry.
No, constraint means the conditions, no?
Okay, okay.
So anything applied, there should be some condition. Okay, so everything is conditional.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I wanted to drink water. That's it. Yeah, please.
I have a small question.
Yes.
While inputting the words, you put hyphens in between. So, like, the computer is not able to recognize it's a compound word, is it?
Yeah, right. So I have not explained, I have not used there is one tool which will automatically segment and decide whether it is a compound or not, etc. It will split. But then that I have not used. So I have used a simple machine where you need to put hyphens. Tomorrow I will demonstrate the one with which automatically segments it, but there also we need to decide whether it is a compound or sandhi and several other things. I will demonstrate that tomorrow. Okay. Today I have demonstrated the simple machine. Okay. Because it is the first class,
Thank
I thought
you.
let's start with the simple one. Yes, there was something related to constraint. Somebody was asking, Srinivasanji. You may ask the question again.
No, I am not able to pronounce the pronunciation. I got confused whether it's constant or constraint.
Oh, okay. Constraint. Constraint.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Doubts? I wanted it to be a bit interactive. That will help me in knowing whether
May
you
I
have
ask,
followed
madam, if
Yes.
thank you for the wonderful presentation. I have a question regarding the texts that are currently available on the website. So you have shown an e-reader.
Yeah.
And are there Vedic texts also available? And if so, how have you described the accents and various other things?
Okay. Right now we do not have Vedic texts. Okay. Of course, there are some websites where Vedic texts are presented, just texts, not the analysis. The e-readers which I have shown, here the analysis is presented, and this analysis is done semi-automatically. That means with the help of machine, and once machine produces something, human being has checked it, verified it, and then we have put it on the uh, on our server. So we have right now four texts. One is the, let me show this. So if I go to Samsadhani, there are three readers: Sankshepa Ramayanam, Bhagavad Gita, Shishupalavatham, and recently we have added one more, Raghuvamsha also. So there are four such texts, and now we have started analyzing Mahabharata, Ashramavasika Parva. So that will also be available in part by in another 1 month or so. Okay, but Vedic texts we do not have because Vedic grammar is little different from the normal classical Sanskrit grammar. Okay, uh, and uh, and another thing is, as you have rightly pointed out, we need to add the accents, etc. We need to handle them, and we do not have expertise in that, so we have not ventured into that part.
I understand. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other question?
Mandavi was asking. Mandavi, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Namaste,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, namaste.
Ma'am, I was asking that if we want to understand the text, any Sanskrit text,
Huh?
then these are the two things which can help us, as you told us. Whether I am right or not, ma'am, please suggest
Huh?
me. One
Yes.
is like Panini's grammar, because that will help us in understanding how do we generate our thoughts.
Yes.
And another one is this theory of Shabda Bodha
Shabda. Yeah.
or verbal cognition
Yes.
by Mimamsaka,
Yeah.
which will help a listener to understand
Yeah.
what is said to him.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
and this theory of Shabdabodha or verbal cognition,
Huh?
like this theory is complete only when we have understanding of the concept of Akansha,
Yes.
concept of Yogyata, and concept of
Perfect.
Sannidhi
Yeah.
also.
Perfect. Yeah.
So this,
Yes.
am I right, ma'am? This,
Yes, yes, you are perfect. You have the you have understood it very well. I'm happy that um, I could put forth all my ideas and you could understood it very well. You have captured it very nicely.
okay, ma'am. That's what, ma'am, I want to understand. I wanted to understand.
Huh,
One more thing, ma'am. Sir has suggested a number of books on Panini.
huh,
So that is written in English and that we can read and understand.
yeah.
Is there any theory, is there any text written in English about this theory of Shabdabodha or verbal cognition? Because I don't know much Sanskrit, but I
Okay.
want to read these things and understand.
Yeah. So, one very nice book which compiles all the concepts that are necessary for understanding is by Kunjuni Raja, Theories of, what is it? Indian Theories of Meaning. Okay.
Okay.
Indian
Uh,
Theories of Meaning.
yeah, Indian Theories of Meaning by
Earlier
Professor,
publication. Yes.
Adyar publication, Kunjuni Raja. That's a very nice book.
Okay, ma'am.
And how I implemented it, how I have used these theories for this implementation is documented by me in another book,
Yes, ma'am.
which is,
Thank
yeah,
you, sir.
this is the Paninian theories of Indian theories of meaning. Yeah, and then I have written this book, which is on uh, the India Sanskrit parsing, following the theories of Shabdabodha, based on the Indian theories of Shabdabodha. This book, uh, I don't know where. If you go to DK Publishers, this will be available.
Okay, ma'am.
DK Publishers and Theories of Shabda Bodha book. So,
Do you have the soft copy?
Soft copy, sorry, sir, because you know,
Yes.
Publisher.
yeah, you know, the publishers have the,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we'll
So
get it. Yeah.
I can just share my screen and show you the. This is the book.
Okay, ma'am.
Uh, Sanskrit parsing based on theories of Shabdabodha. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
It's good. We'll take it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
DK publication, le?
Yeah, it is DK Publishers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. This is the DK Publishers. Okay. Any?
Thank you, Amberji, for your insightful lecture. Today's excellent
sir.
lecture you have
Thank
given. And I think we have been familiar to each other for a long time. I first met you in Hyderabad LSI conference.
Oh, right,
Where-
right. Yes. Now I remember. Okay. Yes.
Professor Krishnamurti was present in that
Yes.
conference. I was quite fortunate to meet him.
Yeah.
And many other luminaries were there. Annagamma Reddy, Professor B.R.K.
Yes.
Reddy, Panchalan
Yes,
Mohan, our good friend,
Yes.
and all were there. I'm very happy to meet you again.
Thank you, madam.
I am actually ignorant of this part of linguistics, and many of the points of your lecture have enriched me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Acha, one more thing, since anybody is not asking me this, simply I want to know about the position of script transformation computationally. Suppose something is written in Bengali, can it be transferred easily to Odia?
Yes, actually, it is very. It's very easy, provided you have it in Unicode.
Okay.
And there are tools. I don't remember the website, but there are websites where you can just upload Bengali and you can get it in Odia. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good to see Professor Ramba Kulkarni.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
Unfortunately, I could not attend the whole thing because there were some visitors. Anyway, so I could get the sense of it. See, will it be available in YouTube? You know, Professor Dash.
It is all
yeah.
recorded. Yes, it will be in our YouTube. Yes.
YouTube, yeah, that will be good, you know, so
Yes.
that we can, you know, at our own convenience, we can, you know,
We
go
can-
through these and, you know,
Okay.
understand. Yeah, that will
All
be nice.
lectures are in YouTube. All lectures will be in YouTube.
Oh, excellent. Good. That's
Okay,
good.
sir.
Yeah.
So please send me a link so that I can also put it on my website so that
Oh, sure.
people can listen to
I
it.
think Panini.
Yeah. That will be a very good thing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. We'll share tomorrow. And we will try to. And we are also having our website going to release almost, but to make it more active, the person is working. So we'll try to bring it. So all things should be available so that anybody can read and share whenever necessary.
Yeah.
It is only to make aware that our system is still vibrant and relevant in the present context. So we need to study our languages more systematically. Though people are afraid of grammar, but without grammar, we cannot move. We cannot talk about any language. So that is our main purpose. Let us understand our system and the knowledge that has been, developed. They have analyzed in such a way, whether it is Mimamsa and Vyakarana, as you put it rightly. I have been telling how our system is so level, semantic and syntactic, formally and semantically, how things are related. It is more important for us, and particularly the Karaka theory is something very unique for all languages. So if we understand in our own language, we can understand any other language in a similar fashion, though there are minor variations. So there is always a micro level. We are all united. We have only one language. Only at the macro level, we find the differences. That we should always maintain. That it is not that everybody is different from others. We have something common and something also different according to the space and time. As we know always, things change according to space and time. Otherwise, it is oneness that we try to bring out. Even in Indian language, your main object, we must understand all our languages are very much linked, very much close to each other. It is not totally different. So different only in macro level, but in the micro level, the core level, it is very common to all of us, so that we are able to understand. We are trying to establish, to understand, make to our friends, those who have joined our program, is to see that how all languages are linked. They are very much close to each other. So that is all our effort, is to bring together that our language system is more, particularly Indian languages, we are very much close at the syntax and semantics level. Thank you all for joining us, and hope we will meet again tomorrow with more questions. Our participants can join, so that we'll have more explanation. Whatever we have done theoretically, this gives the practical applicability today, and how linking is more important. And Nyaya and Vyakarana cannot be separated if we understand any other. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow, all the participants. Please take care. See that how best we can do. That should be our vision. How best we can bring together all our languages. Thank you all. Thank you, madam. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Namaste, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.